Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
All right, there you go. Celebrants born in the month of October. Say congratulations to them. Kelechi Iheanacho and Stephen Okereke, amongst others. I'm not leaving out Prophet Oyeleke. Yeah, I'm saying this to you. Congratulations to you. Tunde Idowu is my name, and welcoming you once again if you're just tuning in at this point in time. Right. All right. So those who celebrate it, as I said, and the history that we've made as a nation over the years, there you go. Some of them just bringing into our viewing pleasure for us to get a better understanding, and let's reminisce as to what it looked like then and where we are now. Just as I told you earlier, we will very shortly, we will still go into our discussion, but we'll bring you other segments that is put together by Walk My Pride, facts about Spring Fact, and of course, you know how we do it, do a couple of delicacies just to make sure that we all eat and eat right and well. All right. At this point in time, I am right in the studio with me this morning. I have an amazing man. I won't say regular face, but he's a face. He's been here. But when you know people who have that initiative to create something worthwhile, yeah, we'd love to always flow with them, and let's get to know what exactly they are up to. So he's going to be doing two things with me in the studio. First of all, yeah, I know those of us who we are 64 in the spirit. We'll look back as to what the years has looked like for Nigeria at 64, and then we'll come to something dynamic that we will be talking about on the show today. It's a delight and it's a pleasure once again to have a dear brother, a friend of the house, Bolaji Jegede. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to you.
Don't worry, it's still morning. I thought you started to work. Oh yeah, it's still morning.
It's still morning.
Yeah, good morning, and thank you for taking time out to be with us.
It's amazing to be here again.
Let's first of all talk about Nigeria before we talk about the initiative of something great that I know we've spoken about, a bit of it, then something else again. Nigeria for you turned 64 a couple of days ago, I think about 4 days ago. At least here you are, a Nigerian to the bones. Don't let me conclude. Are you in Nigeria?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. So he's a Nigerian to the bone. So I shouldn't go mix things up here. For you, will you say at 64, Nigeria has anything to celebrate?
Well, I think that at 64, if we want to look at the trajectory that Nigeria has gone through, it's a mix of positives and negatives.
I agree.
So we can't say we haven't moved forward, but I believe that we haven't moved. We are not at the level we should be. I believe that we should have gone a lot farther than we have. So in my mind, Nigeria should be running now, but I think that we're still crawling. You know, so
we were once started as the giant of Africa. Now, from your own perspective, you say we're still crawling. We've never been, or we had once been, that giant of Africa.
I think we had once been the giant of Africa, and we probably are still basking in that euphoria. But we should be commanding more respect than we are commanding. I think there was a time when Nigeria was a lot better than this.
Absolutely.
And we should, I personally don't see any reason why at this time that we shouldn't be shoulder to shoulder with countries like China and countries like the UAE, Singapore. So in my mind, Nigeria should be doing a lot better. I think leadership continues to be the problem that Nigeria has.
Because you've actually taken me to, because that was my next question I wanted to ask you, looking at leadership and followership. For you, is it an aspect of bad leadership or the followership who have elected bad leadership? That's what where we are today.
So for me, this question has always come up in quite a number of fora, and I'm always of the school of thought, and I still remain of the school of thought, that everything rises and falls on leadership. So leadership is the big problem that Nigeria has. So some people always say, "Oh, the followers deserve the kind of leaders that they get," and I always disagree with that school of thought. I think that if a country will be on the right trajectory, leadership is absolutely important. Because if you have leaders who know what they are doing, they can set the direction and they can get everybody to align.
Yeah.
But what you have in Nigeria is a situation where you have leaders who make the laws and they are not subject to the law. There are no consequences for actions of leaders. And so when you look at leadership and followership, the follower are supposed to see the leader as that person whom they are supposed to follow, to the promised land. But so when leaders go around in Nigeria either looting money or engaging in all manner of corruption that goes with impunity, so the followers look at them, they look up to them and say, okay, so this is how leadership is what's leadership all about. So they aspire to that. So when leadership doesn't show example, you don't blame the followers. Because when you set things right as a leader, everybody follows. When nobody's above the law. In the United States, the president was actually impeached. That can never happen in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Right? So, and because the laws do not respect anybody, everybody you are equal before the law. But in Nigeria, we are not equal before the law. So leaders have a set of rules. Perhaps they don't even have any rules, while the rules are for the other people. So for me, leadership is the problem. The followers have no problem. When you look at Singapore, we talked about Singapore. When Lee Kuan Yew, took that country and exhibited outstanding leadership, everybody followed suit and it took them to the promised land. The same thing with Dubai or the UAE.
Yeah.
I mean, we read or we heard some stories about the fact that maybe in the 1970s or thereabout, the UAE came to Nigeria asking for money when it was just a creek town, Dubai. But when they had the oil, they channeled their resources through good leadership, and Dubai is like heaven, like I'd always say. And these things happen within a space of 30 years. Same thing with China. Within a space of 30 years, 40 years, they are where they are. So if we are 64 and we don't even have any meaningful industry, we are 64, we don't have 24 hours power supply. We are 24, we are 64, and there's no running water in homes. We are 64, there's no gas infrastructure, despite the fact that Nigeria is actually a gas country.
Yeah.
People don't know. They think that we are actually a crude oil. We're not a crude oil country. We're actually a gas country. We have one of the biggest gas reserves in the world. And at 64, we don't have gas infrastructure to channel gas to industries, to channel gas to people's homes. And what are we talking about? We have leaders who continually steal. As of today, Abacha died more than 20 years ago, I can't remember, 30 years ago, and we are still recovering Abacha's loot.
Yeah.
So what about the ones who are living that nobody's investigating? I mean, we have politicians who have Nigerian money stashed in UAE, Switzerland, America, all over the place. The last time I was here, I was telling you about an American investment banker that were on a flight from London to Ghana. And he told me, this was 2010, he told me that, look, I manage the money of many Nigerian politicians in America. And let me tell you the truth, our government encourages them to bring it. That's what the American told me. He said he was in Africa with $1 billion to look at some investment he wants to. So you still have money to America, to Europe, and they still take the money and they come and invest it in Africa and still take away all our things. So for me, leadership continues to be the bane and the problem that Nigeria faces. Get a right leader, then you see how things can turn around, basically.
A right leader who is determined to make things happen, just like you mentioned, Lee Kuan Yew, Salman Albin in Dubai, quite a whole lot of great leaders whereby they've turned around the fortunes of this dear nation. And at this point, this will take me into our discussions gradually here, looking at what agriculture can do for a nation and to a nation. This was what we used. This was what I knew while growing up. Looking at the space at which Nigeria invested heavily in agriculture. We have quite a whole lot of great buildings, the Cocoa House in Ibadan, so Onekon Stadium, things like that, buildings like that, properties like that were put together from what the government could get from that they got from agriculture, and they're here today. But today, agriculture seems to be thrown away. If we have to look at the space at which food insecurity is in Nigeria today, no matter how, except you're up there, you're probably not feeling the heat of the food insecurity and what the economy looks like today. To sustain food security through agriculture, is it workable?
No, absolutely. Any serious country that really wants to develop or wants to survive,
yes,
must really look at agriculture and take it seriously. Because, I mean, when you look at the Maslow's theory of needs, at the base of the pyramid is food, clothing, and shelter. So food is basic, you know. So if you cannot provide food for your people, I mean, there's really nothing you're supposed to be doing in government, right? So it's possible to ensure proper food security. But when we look at where we are today, there's a lot of rising, absolutely astronomical rise in cost of food items in the markets. I think we have food inflation going to almost 50%. And people are struggling to actually feed now all over the country. And that's really terrible. You talked about how agriculture was used to really build some monuments. That we still have in Nigeria today, the Cocoa House. I mean, there was the old thing about granite pyramids in the north and all manner of things that agriculture did. And that again, the leaders at that time, those were the times when Nigeria can actually say we were the giants of Africa and we were pride, you know, on the continent and maybe in the world stage, but not where we are today. And so what did those people do then? They saw agriculture as a means for development and they took the bull by the horn. You see, the advent of crude oil and oil money is what brought problem to agriculture in Nigeria, where the federal government and the state subnational, the state governments, they no longer think agriculture is important. And that's what we're suffering today. It's the ineptitude and the irresponsibilities of leaders, particularly in the democratic dispensation, that has relegated agriculture to the background because there's this whole pool of money they can go and share every month in Abuja, you know, and the governors go there, share the money, they come back home, and their brains either go into lockdown and they don't even know what to do. And now we have all this problem. People cannot eat. I always go to the market myself. I love to cook. I love to go to the market. I love to feel the pulse of the people. Yeah. So I go to the market. I buy pepper. I go and grind the pepper. I buy rice, buy beans. I go into the open market and do stuff like that. And I saw how prices continue to balloon, right? And it's really bad because people are finding it difficult to actually feed. So we really need to look at agriculture. Agriculture has the potential to sustain the country. I don't see any reason why by now we shouldn't be feeding the world or even the nation or the continent. We have that capacity. We have so much culturable land, all over the states that we can utilize to, ensure that we feed ourselves first and then we can export. The potential's absolutely huge for agriculture if we take it seriously, if the government takes it seriously. It's still something that will always be here till eternity.
Wow. Now, because I'm looking at it, and I know you have a vision, an initiative. Yeah. If we can get it right here in Osun State, hey, probably the whole world will probably be visiting us. I remember we discussed something the last time you were here about a Vision 2035. We're going to discuss about that. First of all, we'll bring our audience back to understanding what that Vision 2035 stands for before we come to talk about a food security summit that is going to take place in our dear state. Yeah, but I still just want us a bit to look at the way forward for us agricultural wise in Nigeria, because you're having this kind of initiative for a state. Suppose you probably have that support by the federal government. Do we see a way out of this quagmire in which Nigeria is right now? Because I know one thing for real: Nigerians are suffering. But the point is, I'm really, really scared about all this. At times, I'm with due respect to this young man. In the course of this week, I was out there. I think I was just in my car, and there was a knock by the door, and the man was like, "Please, whatever I have, I should give." And I looked at him. The man was in suit, jacket, coat, or whatever. I now looked at that. Wow, there is hunger in the land. But then, Mr. Jegede, let's hold on. We'll take a vox pop of how we got independence 64 years ago, and also we'll take this "My Work, My Pride" segment as well. Then when we come back, Mr. Bolaji Jegede is a convener of Osun Vision 2035 initiative, and also very soon, by this time next month, he must be well prepared towards a food security summit that will take place here in our dear state, Osun State. We'll bring all this together. It's going to explain to us what it means. Who are those that are expected to be part of this program, and what will be the benefit to the state, individuals, and the generality as well. Please stay with us. It's still Spring Delight from Western Spring Television. We'll be right back. Wow. I don't know, but a big thank you to the production team there, Pastor Kadelaka, the cameraman, Raman, who actually put up that visuals together for us there. I looked at it and I was like, hey, Nigerians, some of us don't know how old Nigeria is. Some of us can recite the national anthem. It's a bit touchy, but it's going to be part of our discussion this morning. So if you're just tuning in, welcome. Thanking you indeed for being here. Still Spring Delight from Western Spring Television. And with me in the studio this morning, I have my dear brother, Mr. Bolaji Jegede. Thanking you once again for being here. I don't want to put you on the spot. I said, my brother, can you recite the national anthem? But I trust you 100%, I know. But because of the want of time, I want us to talk a bit about that. How will Nigerians have probably, is it an aspect of this nonchalant attitude towards things, or the way life has portrayed itself to us as humans here in our nation, Nigeria? Because while we were out there, I asked that question, which we also now that can you please recite the national anthem? And people were like, the national anthem, Arise. But obviously, we know that it's no more Arise, O compatriots. It's Nigeria we hail thee. What do you think for you as a Nigerian? Is it an aspect of orientation that is not well circulated, or we just have this attitude towards it that that's not my concern? Because an average American, I don't know why I keep using the American or the British, all hail the king, God bless the king, or the American. You see that they recite it with so much passion. So, but I'm not sure that if I ask somebody now, except there's a monetary incentive to it, that this is 20,000 naira, recite the national anthem. Then you see the enthusiasm. But for me, on a normal day, just can you recite the national anthem? Oh, you hear? Well, CD, that's not. Is it our culture? Is it about orientation, or what could have brought us, demeaned us to that level that we're not interested in knowing all these things?
Okay, so thank you. So basically, I think that it's not that Nigerians don't nonchalant.
Okay.
But I think we just need to understand the circumstances that surround the everyday Nigerian, particularly at this time. So we had an old national anthem, which everybody knows that, right? That's what we had for years since I was born, right? Yeah. So everybody knows that. You go to functions, that's what we sing at the and everybody sings it. So it's not for the lack of interest, but when you look at when this new one came in, maybe a few weeks or so or months back, it came in at a time where, number one, as a person, I don't even see the need for it, and I don't think that was actually the most important thing that we needed at the time.
This time, yeah.
You know, so I kind of feel like it's some sort of misplaced priority, but they've done that, they've done that. But so the question really is, in the midst of high food prices, people are hungry. The cost of living, high. Fuel. I used to fill my tank, my 4Runner Jeep, with 15,000 before this administration came in.
Okay.
I bought, as I was coming in, I bought 50,000. I was on half tank, so I now need 100,000 to fill my tank.
Yeah, that's it.
When I used to, so my light as the light bill has gone. I'm on band A. Light bill has gone up, I think, about times 4.
Yeah.
Food is just the mercy of God that we're able to eat food. And so when people have all that trouble in their mind, and what you expect them to do is to learn a new national anthem. I don't think that that's what is the priority of an average Nigerian today. And if people don't know it, I wouldn't blame anybody who doesn't know it, because I think the government should face solving the issue of food security, the issue of insecurity itself, and the issues around ease of doing business. I think those are the most important things that you need to do. When everybody is able to get unemployment is another issue. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're a young person and you don't have a job, what's your business learning the national anthem? Because the truth of the matter is, the national anthem is something that people should be proud of. And yes, people were proud of it. We sang it, you know, without thinking. So maybe when these other indices become realistic level, people have a job, people can eat, people can move around freely, then we are incentivized to learn the new national anthem. You see? So when you see leaders who really don't know what they're doing, who just go around doing parochial things, this is what you get. What's that? And I heard that some House of Assembly person was actually even trying to sponsor a bill that whoever cannot sing the new national should go to jail. So that tells you the level of ignorance and the level of irresponsibility of people who are in leadership.
I would have loved that the person who tried to the rep member who tried to bring that up should probably have sang that song to confirm if he knows it as well. But as you said, ignorance, I think.
No, it's not ignorance. It's just it's ignorance, and also it's lack of values, lack of ideas, really. Because if you were coming to the floor of the House of Assembly, putting together laws that can help businesses grow, laws that can protect women and children, laws that can make agriculture viable. Those would have been things that would have expected from lawmakers. But when you see a lawmaker which bill he can sponsor is people to go to jail for not singing national anthem, it shows the level we have actually deteriorated to as a country.
Now, before we come back to Osun State and discuss this here, at 64, I'm not sure I'm going to be here in another 64 years, but it's all in the hands of God. But in another 64 years, with this set of leaders that we have, could there be a change, a turnaround?
And absolutely, there can be a turnaround, and there will be a turnaround. That I am certain of. But you know, for the turnaround to happen, it's going to be very important that the young people drive it. The youth need to drive it, and the youth have the numbers. We have the intellectual capacity.
Yes, please.
We have what it takes to turn this country around. And we've heard people talk about revolution now. I agree that we need a revolution, but my idea of revolution is an intellectual revolution. And I think that is what is the most important thing that we need. It's not by violence or running to the streets and burning properties. What we need is an intellectual revolution. And that's why the kind of initiatives that I put out there are initiatives that are well thought out, well documented. These are things, that concepts I've been working on for 15 to 20 years.
Oh my.
And so when you talk about the Nigeria, I currently have already what we call the Vision 2050, the Nigerian Dream. That one will be launched in a couple of years' time. And that's why we are launching next month the Osun Vision 2035 initiative. And that one is going to help transform Osun State into an economic, industrial, agriculture, R&D, and cultural hub, making Osun State a powerhouse in Africa by the year 2035.
That's an amazing one. Let's just go straight and talk about this. Let's get to have clearer understanding. Bring us back. I know we discussed this during our last interview here. Now, how well have we gone concerning Vision 2035 to make Osun great for all?
Okay, so when we talk about Vision 2035 for Osun State, make Osun great for all, MOGFA, like I said earlier, it's a well documented strategy.
Okay.
That will help transform Osun State into that powerhouse in Africa by 2035. And basically, you know, it sits on 8 special initiatives.
Okay.
So we talk about the agricultural revolution.
Okay.
There's the industrialization and economic diversification. You know, there's culture and heritage. There's tourism.
Okay.
There is education and skill acquisition. So there are 8 special initiatives under the vision. And so basically the vision is going to be launched next month here in Osun State.
Okay.
And while we're going to be taking the Food Security Summit at the same time, you know, from November 11 to November 16. So November 11 is going to be the first night when we're going to be having the gala night and awards night. And what we seek to do with that gala night is to acknowledge those who have contributed meaningfully to Osun State's development up until now, and then use that opportunity to launch the Vision, Osun Vision 2035 initiative, and then we begin to have our conferences, the Food Security Summit itself, which is going to be a 3-day conference and exhibition holding at the WorkDiv Event Center.
Okay.
And at the same time, something amazing that I have put into this is something I call the MOGFA Market Square.
MOGFA Market Square.
Yeah, you know, MOGFA, like I said, MOGFA stands for Make Osun Great for All. You know, that's the code name for Osun Vision 2035. So the MOGFA Market Square is going to be holding at the Freedom Park.
Okay.
And we are likely to, depending on how much funding we get, we're able to expand that market to also use some bigger venues in other cities. My goal is to turn Osun State into a marketplace during those 5 days. So what's going to happen at the Freedom Park is that we're talking to vendors already.
Okay.
So people are going to bring the food items into the Mufa Market Square at the Freedom Park, and the populace will be come to buy those food items at 10 to 50% discount.
Okay.
And that market will run for 5 days. 5 days. And right now, people are struggling to put food on their table.
Yeah.
And we am doing that so that we can actually help families to buy food items, into their house during that 5-day period. We have a budget for a minimum budget of 100 million for those food subsidies. So depending on how much funding and support we're able to get, will determine how much percentage we'll ask the vendors to give. So we are hopeful that we can get enough support to be able to give as much as 50% discount, so that Osun State people, even people out of Osun State, can come to Osun State and buy food items for their families at highly discounted rates.
Wow, that's massive. But let's go in depth about this, and looking at the state and the speed at which food insecurity is in Nigeria today is alarming, and this will be an eye opener as to probably what to do in getting things right. Why have you decided to come up with this at this trying time in Nigeria? Can this work?
No, so there's no better time to discuss food security in Nigeria than now. We are in a very we're on a keg of gunpowder that can explode anytime if we don't take it seriously. There are many factors that are militating against food surplus in Nigeria, and we need to address some of those things, frontally. And so when you look at what are the reasons why we're having all these problems, number one is the fact that the insecurity in the northern part of Nigeria is a key issue, because when you have all these Boko Haram and all these ISWAP terrorists that are sending farmers out of their farms, killing farmers. So farmers, most people who farm in Nigeria, many of them are in the north. They can't go to the farms because of insecurity. So that's a big problem in itself. So insecurity is a key factor right there that needs to be solved. So another key issue is the issue of the climate change. Now, we just had this terrible flooding, in the north that affected Borno State, and farmlands, run over by water, millions of people displaced. These are people that farm. And so again, climate change, there's not been a lot of rain, this year the way it should be. So farmers are telling me, because I deal with a lot of farmers, I support many farming communities. They had a lot of losses this year because of the rain inconsistency in the rain. So climate change is an issue. Policy somersault is also an issue. And this comes back to the issue of leadership. We lack, especially this democratic dispensation, we lack visionary leadership. And that's something that is a problem. If you remember when Jonathan was president, he came up with this cassava bread initiative, and people invested. People believe that, now we can make cassava bread. The government was going to invest in that. I think they started doing something. Some people put up cassava factories making the cassava bread, and Jonathan left power. The new people came and they threw that into the dustbin. Now people have invested thinking that policy will help them have a good business, and that is what happens every time. You see, from government to government, everybody believes that they come in with their own agenda and they throw away what the other people have done. There should be consistency in all of these things. So that's where we have all those people are actually not wanting to even invest, because government gives policies and then they lose elections, and you have invested, and then another action comes in and your investment becomes a waste. So when you look at a combination of insecurity, climate change, policy somersaults, lack of loans, single-digit loans to agri-businesses, all this put together becomes a threat to food security in Nigeria. And if we must solve this food security problem in Nigeria, we have to look at these things very critically. And that is where things like this kind of visions that I have for Nigeria and the states is very important, because a leader should be able to look into the future and project the next 20 years, the next 30 years, 60 years. What do we want to see in Nigeria? What do we want to see in your state? So the question really is, without a vision, the people perish. And that's what the Bible says. You know, I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian, and I mean, my identity in Christ drives many of the things that I do. So if you don't have a vision for your country, there's no vision for your state. You're not working with. You're just going to be moving.
You think government at all levels don't have a clear vision?
There's absolutely no clear vision in Nigeria. I have never seen any government, any state government, any national government party that came in with any clear vision to what they want to achieve. They all come with all this 5-point agenda, 6-point agenda. Those are no visions. Those are absolute nonsense. So for me, we heard about Vision 2030. Now we are there. What is Vision 2020?
Vision 2020.
Yeah. So where are we? What was that vision? Where are we? We're absolutely nowhere. So there's never been any vision for the country, not for any state. And these people, just because they are politicians and they have the ability to, you know, buy votes and all of that, even whether they have the knowledge or the capacity, they get themselves into the office, and you find out that people get into office today, and 3 months after, they're already talking about the next election. You hardly hear any meaningful debate around industrialization, around moving the country forward. All we see is how politicians go around in convoys and they are, you know, living big man life, telling people to go and cut their coat according to their size. Meanwhile, you are gallivanting on our patrimony. So when there's no vision, there's no way a country can develop. And that's where, when you look at things like Osun Vision 2035, that's going to set Osun on a different trajectory, and Vision 2050, which is going to set Nigeria on a different trajectory. Those are the kind of things that we need to look at. You know, so and that's where I need to charge Nigerians at this time. But when we go into elections, especially the young people, because for me, the people in the older generation, they failed us, and I sincerely have nothing to discuss with them. Mine is for the young people to. I know that we have been brainwashed. I know that poverty, you know, has been weaponized. Education has been weaponized against the young people. But I think that we still have the capacity to do amazing things. If you see people doing amazing things in Nigeria and Africa, they're the young people.
Absolutely.
You see, so a typical young Nigerian is entrepreneurial, is industrious, is hardworking. All over the world, people know that wherever Nigerians are, great things happen. Go to America, Nigerians are dominating the Medicare system. Nigerians are dominating the legal system everywhere in the world. My brother and his wife are registered nurses in America. So most of the brilliant guys have left Nigeria. They've trained abroad. They are doing amazing well. Most of my classmates are now PhD holders in America, doing well in NASA, doing amazing stuff. So I still believe in Nigeria, and that's why I'm in Nigeria. All my brothers are in America. Some of them are already citizens, and they tell me that, what are you doing in Nigeria? Why are you not in Canada? Why are you not coming? I said, I don't have an American dream. I don't have a Canadian dream. The only dream I have is a Nigerian dream, and I'm staying here to make Nigeria better. As I was telling people, I said, if they are giving out the American passport for free, I'm not going to take it. I mean that's what many people want to do, but I won't take it. Give me the Canadian passport. I don't need it. The best I can take is maybe a resident permit that allows me to travel. I cannot take any passport, a Nigerian passport. My dream is a Nigerian dream. So if you want to go to America, absolutely, you can go to America or Canada. I don't have a problem with that. But we are still here. We're going to make Nigeria better. And Nigeria has the capacity to be better. And I believe that the young people will drive the development that we need in Nigeria. I'm just talking to the youth to look beyond the immediate challenges we have. We can actually initiate a mental and intellectual revolution that can turn things around. Yes, we need government. Yes, we need these older folks who have captured the patrimony. We need to get it back one way or another. And the young people can and will make Nigeria great again.
I believe that. As well. And I key into that dream of yours as well. Quickly, so Jegede, let's come back to this food security summit here. Saying this is going to start on the 11th or 16th of November of this great year. Right. What's it going to look like?
Okay, so what's it going to look like, the food summit? What I can always assure people is it's going to be world class.
Fantastic.
So I don't do anything. I don't believe in mediocrity. And I've been in entrepreneurship for 21 years now. I'm known some extent globally, and there's only one thing they know me for is excellence.
Fantastic.
Having worked in the oil and gas industry, being a consultant to states, consultant to banks, and all of that, I do all I do with excellence. So my company, our motto is 100% indigenous, 100% world class. So what are we expecting for this food summit? It's going to be, there will be conferences, panel sessions. There's going to be exhibition. There's going to be the Mufa market. All we're expecting is world class standard. Osun is, with his vision 2035 that we are launching next month, is setting Osun on a path of excellence. And everything that will be happening in Osun State going forward will only be excellent. It's going to be international standard. The exhibition, we have seen exhibitions in Osun State. We have seen exhibitions in Nigeria. What we are putting together is going to be an exhibition that is on a first-class level that we compare with what you have anywhere in the developed world. That is what I can guarantee you, that when you get into our exhibition centers, when you get into our panels, you will see what is called world class. You will see what is called the spirit of excellence.
Wow, spirit of excellence. All right, let's just because are you involving the government in this, or is just your initiative and you're sticking to that?
Okay, so it's my initiative,
yes,
100%, and that needs to be very clear. I'm definitely involving government, but my level of government involvement is, I'm trying to make it as minimal as I can. The reason being that in Osun State, when Aregbe was governor, I tried to do some things for them, with them, and typical politicians, it didn't work. When there was Oyetola government, I brought an idea that could generate 15,000 jobs per year in Osun State. And my in-law happens to be a friend of the governor. We were going to the governor, and then we met one of the commissioners. I won't say his name just to keep him, but a commissioner. And he was like, oh, he told my in-law and said, you don't need to go to the governor. I will execute this. This is a brilliant idea. You don't need to know the governor. Then my in-law was okay. Let's work with him. Then what did he do? He just took the idea, went to the state executive council, and said it was his own. And I didn't really mind, because my idea was not really to take any glory. My idea is for Osun State to grow. I didn't care. He went there saying it was his own. Anyway, I did the budget, did everything. When we trained, we worked with the Bank of Industry, the state government, myself as the consultant. We trained about 2,000 MSMEs in Osun State. The Bank of Industry gave them money for their businesses. What interest I went from village to village, all manner of stuff. When the governor released the money, the commissioner, for some reason, he didn't even give me a dime. I know what I did to ensure that thing happened. He just took my idea and made a mess of it. And that thing generated no jobs, something that had the potential to generate 15,000 jobs a year. So that was what I experienced with those guys. Because when I do all these things, I don't put money forward.
Yeah.
So I think I remember telling the commission that, look, money is not the issue, but let's get the state to work. So when the money was released, I was like, Mr. Commissioner, are you not giving me for all my jobs? What? He said, Shebi, I said, I don't need any money. Anyway, I was like, and I called the director at the time. I said, Mr. Director, what are you guys doing in that your ministry? He said, that one told me, he said, the money the governor released is not even enough for us. So that's why I don't deserve anything for all the labor that I did. So anyway, that aside, so that's why this time I said I'm not working with any government. I'll work with private sector, and I work for private sector, and we can get the country to move. So I try to move away from government, but I got one of my godmother, an amazing woman. She said to me, look, I think this government in Osun State is a little better than this other one. Let's try and see. And I said to her, look, I'll go to them, but I'm not ready to work with them. I'm not keen about working with them because I don't even need their money. If they come and sponsor the event, I have no problem with it. But I'm done with people who cannot think for themselves, and I come up with an idea, and then all you go and do is say it's your own. That's why this idea now is all over Osun State, it's all over the world, it's all over social media. I want to see that person who will claim that he owns it. I have my copyright on it. Let me see that person who will do that now. So basically, I would love to work with government because
this present government, because your referral, your reference to the commissioner who actually did what he did or some, not this,
not this government.
Not this government.
So these governments, I've met people at the highest level of the government. They are excited about it.
Oh, great.
Or they seem excited about it.
Okay.
And I'll give them
The benefit
of the doubt. As we speak now, we're 5 weeks to go. I was having a chat with one of the commissioners, and I said, look, this is some weeks back. I always like to, 2 weeks to go, I want my program already done.
So,
I never do anything that gives me any stress because I plan ahead. So I said to Commissioner, I said, Mr. Commissioner, if the government wants to be a part of this, it's either now or never. When everything is cast in stone, I will not move I will not move an inch for any government involvement. Well, he said, we're interested, but I'm abroad now. Let's talk. I said, well, anytime you can call me. So basically, they seem interested, and I'm using my word very carefully. They seem interested, but I've not seen the energy.
Okay.
I've not seen the passion, and I'm going ahead without them. Already, we are getting support. I'm very excited about what the private sector can do and will do. So right now, I spoke with I want to thank him absolutely well, the Orogun of Okela, an amazing Kabiyesi, doing amazing things in Osun State. I met Kabiyesi last week Saturday. You know, we've been chatting. I met him in his hotel room in Idleness Saturday, and he said, Kabiyesi, I sent him this doc. He said, what you are doing is amazing. Honestly, what you are doing is what I really see Nigeria becoming. I'm with you 100%. And I said, well, actually, I was going to tell you that I wanted to be a co-chair for the vision. He said, I'm with you 100%. Go and use my name anywhere.
Oh boy. That alone is rubber stamped.
And I will tell you what happened. He started calling people.
Okay.
He has called Akim Adesina.
Oh.
He has called. I won't say anything. He made a call to one of his friends. Okay. You know, the Kabiyesi told me, he said something. Let me say, I won't mention any name.
Okay, yeah.
Kabiyesi said,
we have to go though.
Kabiyesi said, I don't have money, but I have friends. I started calling. He called somebody and said, the person said, so. There's a young man here. I think we must support him. The man said, okay, where is he? So can he come now? Then I went to Osogbo to go and meet the person. And I showed him. He said, this is absolutely amazing. He said, I'll give you something to start with. Yesterday, I just saw 1 million in my account.
All right. Now, we've heard that. All right. Now, I would like to let you know, because seriously, trust us from here as well. The media support, we will keep doing this. Nigeria in our lifetime will be great.
Absolutely.
I believe in that. And please, this initiative, nothing will stop it.
Absolutely.
Just keep on keeping on. It's a delight speaking with Mr. Bolaji Jegede. He is the convener, the initiator of MOGFA, Make Osun Great for All. And for all, it surely will then. Gradually, he moves to make Nigeria great, make Africa, the world. We'll always do this together. Mr. Bolaji Jegede, thanking you indeed. Please, 11th till 16th, trust us, we'll be there.
Thank you very much.
We'll be there.
Thank you very much.